This is the McGraw Show on KTRS.
All right, let's check in with Scott Crothers here each and every day. Good morning, Scott Crothers.
Good morning, McGraw.
Yesterday, another small down day. What's going on?
Right, not too bad. Yesterday, the Dow lost 46 points, closed at 20,551. Now, we were off over 180 points early in the day, but came back to settle with a small loss. Financial stocks sold off the most, down 0.5% for the day. We are down 8 days in a row, the longest losing streak since 2011. The yield on the 10-year U.S. Treasury fell to 2.373%.
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit of a losing streak here. All right. How much, Scott Crothers, did Americans pay in property taxes last year?
Funny that you ask.
Yes.
Americans paid a record $540 billion in property taxes last year, up 3.2% from last year in a new record. The old record dates back to 2009. Most of the money goes to local governments, but a little goes to the state. This number averages out to be about $1,673 for each American citizen.
Wow, I'm on the higher end of that average. That's one. $540 billion in property taxes. That is a lot of money. Wow,
it's a lot of money for property taxes.
That is a lot. And then the highest record. And so we've now. I guess it's good that it's more, but it's also bad that it's more. Whether taxes are going up, or rates are going up, or values are going up.
Right. It just means that the property values probably are back to where they were.
Yeah, interesting.
So, and higher.
Yeah, interesting. All right. What's going on with Ford?
Now, Ford plans to announce significant investment in 3 Michigan plants. This will be on top of the money they have already announced, including $700 million for their Michigan assembly plant. The big 3 automakers are adding more money to their facilities as they seek to increase their U.S. production. And Ford is putting more money here in the States. So.
All right, good. We've heard of SpaceX. What's Space C?
Well, that is SpaceX, okay, and they will, again, try to make history on Thursday. They will have the first launch of a liquid-fueled rocket powered by engines previously fired in space. If this works, it will dramatically bring down the cost of launching rockets into space, so let's hope it works on Thursday.
Well, all right, we'll stay tuned for that. All right. How do the markets look today, Scott Crothers?
Today, the Dow looks flat so far. We get a few housing numbers, including the Case-Shiller Home Index. We will also get a look at consumer confidence, see how those numbers come out.
Scott Crothers with Stephen Nicholas. Have yourself a good day. Thanks for checking in. We'll do it all again tomorrow.
Sounds great. Thank you.
You got it. Coming up in 8 minutes, we're going to check in with Karen Travers, ABC News White House correspondent. Lots going on at the White House. She'll break that all down for us. And then Stephen Deere from the Post-Dispatch has a great story about the NGA, that new mapping agency that is building a $1 billion new facility in downtown St. Louis. But will you indulge me for a second, Kelly?
Absolutely.
So over the weekend, I was in New York.
Yes.
And did the show from the ABC studios on Friday. So it's weird. You're sort of. I feel like I've been gone for 3 weeks, but I only missed
2 days
yesterday.
Well, yeah, just yesterday.
And we had it was like a little mini reunion for all sorts of people, and people know that my cousin wrote that book, The Tender Bar. There was, and a lot of people showed up. A lot of them have died now, but there's still a couple who were kicking around, and one of them is a man who was a police officer growing up. He was a police officer in the neighborhood, and he was a undercover narcotics officer. So he looked like an undercover narcotics guy would look, right? And so he was a great shortstop. And he was at the bar. We had a little reunion at the bar, and he was there. He still looks like an undercover drug dealer. So when you introduce him to somebody, you're like, this is one of the nicest guys in the world, Tony Sorrentino. And they're like, oh, my goodness. So I said to him, one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. He's retired now, and him and his buddies travel all around the country going to different baseball games. So he's been to St. Louis a couple times, and every time he comes, he calls me, and we go out and have dinner. But he says to me, hey, do me a favor. I'll text you when I'm listening, and you give me a shout-out on the radio. So I just got a text message from him. So
he's like, did you mention me yet?
Did you mention me yet? So I'm officially mentioning former a retired police officer, retired Nassau County police officer, and former drug undercover narcotics agent, Tony Sorrentino.
And Major League Baseball fan.
And very below average softball shortstop.
Oh, you just had to diss him in the end, didn't you?
643, big 550.